Good evening, cadets. This is Lance from CinematicGalaxy here tonight, and I wanted to talk to you all about my thoughts on the Han Solo film, the whole situation revolving this movie. For those of you who don't keep up with all this, within the past week, there's been a crazy debacle with the directors, Lord and Miller, who are comedic directors known for the 21, 22 Jump Street films and the Lego movie, the Lego Batman movie, which I haven't seen any of these, by the way. But they were initially revealed to have left the Han Solo film due to creative differences, and they commented on it, saying that it really was creative differences and not just a cliche. But then, as more news outlets begin to release info on this, and reliable news outlets too, they were saying that no, these guys were actually fired from the project. Kathleen Kennedy fired them from the Han Solo movie, and I'm an admin for the Collider Jedi Council fan page, and I'm telling you, we made a master post because the posts were just coming through like that, rapid fire, one after the other. Panic buttons were all flaring. I mean, red alerts, and initially I was kind of like, okay, I think everyone's overreacting, as Star Wars fans tend to do, but then some of the admins and moderators, we all kind of started to get panicked, not panicked, but we kind of were looking at the situation and saying, okay, something is fishy about this, because how do you the movies the movie is supposed to be close to wrapping principal photography. So how do you get this far into principal photography, and then suddenly you have creative differences? Something wasn't right about that. Even with the whole firing thing, like, how do you get this far into the making of this film, and then you're suddenly learning that you have all these problems? And we were throwing different ideas around. Some of us thought that, okay, maybe it was a whole deal where Kathleen Kennedy believed that Han didn't shoot first, versus Phil Lord and Miller believing they did shoot first. And a lot of us weren't really excited for a Han Solo movie to begin with. I mean, as much as we love the character of Han Solo, really I think that's what fuels it, a lot of it for people, is that we love Harrison Ford so much in that role, and he made that role so iconic. And Han Solo is a character that, yes, his past is mysterious, but we get his character arc in the films. We see who he is through his actions, through his interactions with Chewbacca and the rest of the crew. And really, I think we all felt like there's not much more we want to see of him. We definitely don't really want to see an actor portraying a younger version of him. At least I think that's how a lot of people felt. But not to go off on a tangent here. Yes, so that news came out. Everyone was kind of flipping out in their own way, and then the news, more news started to trickle out, and Star Wars Newsnet, um, they published a really great article on this whole thing that seemed to really sort of break the situation down. And I'm sure it's not the whole story. I don't know if we'll ever know the full story, but rumor had it then that Lord and Miller, Lawrence Kasdan, who is Han Solo's most prolific writer, and he's essentially the guy who made Han Solo what he is today. I mean, Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo is a star of that film, in my opinion. Um, and it's no small part thanks to Lawrence Kasdan. This is essentially the character that he made iconic. So, aside from Harrison Ford, of course. So, the whole script and the story and the pitch for this film was his idea, which for me, that is what had me at least cautiously optimistic about a Han Solo movie. So, Kasdan apparently, while he sought out Lord and Miller and he had the utmost faith in them, as the production went rolling, he did not see eye to eye with their vision, with their filmmaking style, and he made it known to them that he had an issue with it. But what the Star Wars Newsnet article also pointed out was that Alden Ehrenreich, the actor portraying Han Solo in this movie, was concerned about the direction that Lord and Miller were taking the character. And this was actually my first gut reaction when this news came out. I said, you know, Guardians of the Galaxy is really popular right now. I'm willing to bet that Lord and Miller, being comedy writers, wanted to make Han into a Star-Lord type of character. I love Star-Lord and I love Guardians of the Galaxy, but that character does not belong in Star Wars, least of all Han Solo. That is not who Han is. So, and then that the tone of Guardians of the Galaxy, in my opinion, is not befitting of a Han Solo movie. It doesn't need to be this really meta kind of off the wall type thing, at least not in my opinion. So, but so as that article came out and I was reading that, that definitely seemed to be what was the case, and Alden was actually the one that brought it to Kasdan and Kennedy's attention that I feel like something's off, like something's not working. And obviously, Lord and Miller, when they were confronted about it, I don't think they liked their filmmaking style being challenged. I don't think they liked being told that they had to do things differently. So they kind of didn't really listen to the notes, and sooner or later, they were kicked off the project. And that's how we ended up here. And then most recently, uh, took a few days, but Ron Howard, director of Apollo 13, the Da Vinci Code films, A Beautiful Mind, a bunch of movies, a lot of great ones, a lot of not so great ones. Also, the star Opie on the Andy Griffith Show, classic television series, and father of Bryce Dallas Howard. He was brought on to direct this movie, and and it makes sense, honestly. In my opinion, the choice of Ron Howard makes sense because this is a guy who, whatever you think about his recent filmography, he's a professional. In the truest sense of the word, Ron Howard is a professional. He's a class act. Everything I've seen from him, everything I know about him, shows that he's the nicest guy in the world. He's really attached with his family. Like he's a family man. He's a person first, director second, and he just, I mean, it makes sense. And he's also had a positive working relationship with George Lucas and Kathleen Kennedy. He actually starred in Lucas's own American Graffiti, so it makes sense that Ron Howard would be brought on. So for me, that is actually really good news for this movie, and it gives me more confidence that they'll be able to course correct whatever's going wrong with this film. Um, but going deeper into the Han Solo film, as I've already said, it's not a movie that I think Star Wars fans as a whole are clamoring for. I mean, yes, obviously the diehard Star Wars fans like myself, uh, we're happy to be getting more Star Wars and we want more Star Wars. I'm not complaining about the movie being made. Um, and I actually, again, now that things are kind of settling, I'm more optimistic about it because it's Kasdan's project. Lawrence Kasdan wanted to make this film even back when George Lucas still owned Star Wars. So, so that's what gives me hope and faith in the project. And I think the cast they've assembled is fantastic. And also another big thing that actually really got me to feeling good about the Han Solo film was Rogue One being the first anthology or spin-off Star Wars film. And even though it had some production issues, it turned out to be fantastic. It looked like they really course corrected and did well. And so I began to get myself more intrigued and more excited about the Han Solo film, to the point to where I actually picked up these three. They're all Legends novels, but this is the Han Solo trilogy. I've never read them. I got them used. So the Han Solo movie, before all this crazy news happened, it piqued my interest in reading these books. And yeah, I mean, I do think the movie could work. But this will be the first Star Wars film that I'm not out of my mind excited for. Maybe I will once I see a trailer and as all this noise around it settles down. But but as of now, my most anticipated film of 2018 is Incredibles 2, which isn't saying anything bad about Han Solo. I love The Incredibles, so and I've been wanting a sequel for a very long time to that. But still, the Han Solo movie announcement. I mean, yes, as much as I love Rogue One, my hype for that film took a while to really build up. But the premise right off the bat intrigued me, and the look of that film intrigued me. Force Awakens, I was immediately extremely excited for. I didn't even need to see a trailer to get excited for that. The Han Solo film, I'm going to see it, of course, and I'm looking forward to it in a way, but I'm just not excited for it. I'll have to see more and all that. The last thing I'll talk about, I don't want to ramble too long here, is Alden Ehrenreich. Apparently, this news came out yesterday, I think, is that Lucasfilm has brought in an acting coach for him, a new acting coach, because apparently Kathleen Kennedy is not satisfied with his performance. And of course, this news drops and people are freaking out again. But I think a lot of the titles have been more or less pretty clickbaity because it makes sense that if the direction was going not in the way they wanted it to, if Lord and Miller weren't directing him the way that they saw appropriate, why wouldn't you bring in a new acting coach? I mean, it just makes sense because now he has to adjust to a new tone, probably, just a new direction. It makes perfect sense to bring in an acting coach to help him adjust to that. So I just think that's meant to kind of stir the pot some more. But I don't think it's anything to worry about because even though I haven't seen any of Alden's performances, I've heard nothing about great things about him. And I have no doubt he'll deliver a great Han Solo performance. But anyway, in a nutshell, that's the whole topic surrounding the Han Solo film. As I've said, I'm not overly excited for this, but but obviously as a Star Wars fan, I'm going to see it. I want it to be great, and I do feel good about where the production's going because this could have been really bad PR for Disney and Lucasfilm, but they really turned right around and got Ron Howard, and I think that immediately helped. And again, by all accounts, to me, it looks like Kasdan and Kathleen Kennedy really want this movie to be the best it can be, and they really want it to not sacrifice Han Solo's integrity. What are you guys' thoughts for this film? Because there's so much different opinions on not only the film, but the situation. And are you excited for the Han Solo movie at all? Or do you just not care, not want it to be made? I think this is definitely one of the more divisive Star Wars topics out today, and certainly a hot topic. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. I'd love to know. Thank you as always for watching, and this is Lance from Cinematic Galaxy signing off.